This is the Frank and Friends show. I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
Hi, Kathryn.
Hey, what's up?
Look at you. You're casual, Kathryn.
I'm casual in my denim,
Kathryn with a K.
That's right. I mean, you're a little casual too, but I mean, I think if we just see your little pocket
That's
square
not a pocket square, Kathryn.
then you can be all fancy.
When did you even notice me put that in there? I guess because I had to go through the bathroom to the laundry room. All right. Well,
what
whatever.
concerns me is it looks like this is something that you might do regularly.
Use a pocket square? Yes, I'm very fancy. This is just an ordinary handkerchief that I would make into a pocket square. That's all.
Let me see.
Nothing to see here. Oh, jeez.
This is actually a dryer sheet.
It's a bounce sheet. It smells nice, though, right?
I mean, yeah.
It smells fresh, fresh as a daisy.
Are you needing to be fresh?
I pulled this shirt. I haven't worn this shirt in 2 years. And I pulled it out of the closet, and I thought it smelled like closet or old man or both. So I thought, Kathryn won't notice. I'll just go into the laundry room for a second and tell her I have something to do. Oh, gee. Give me the Brandon Gibson pocket square. Is what you're.
This is better.
It is pretty.
Ta-da! There you go. Now we're ready.
I'm wearing a bounce dryer sheet as a pocket square.
Looks good. Yeah.
It smells delicious.
Yeah, it's nice. Well, yeah.
Anyway, on with the show.
On with the show. I think we should mention that, I mean, you can get dryer sheets at the grocery store, but you cannot get the Frank and Friends mugs there. So.
No, the merch is special in the website Kathryn designed, the frankandfriendsshow.com/store, where you get the mugs, you get the bucket hats, you get the towels, you get the hoodies. Oh, the hoodie.
It's hoodie season right now.
It certainly is. Look at this. It's like the color of the autumn leaves. The beautiful Frank and Friends logo.
It is like the autumn leaves.
Well, you could get this in. My wife has hers in. You see it over there.
The black.
It's a black one. Mm-hmm. But there's all sorts of colors you can get.
Any color you want. The trees are looking beautiful back there.
It is nice. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about that listening to my friend Dean's podcast a few weeks ago or days ago, and they were talking about the leaf peepers up there, where he lives in New Orleans, so he doesn't get that. But his co-host Allie does the show from her home in Maine, and I was cracking up because it was the beginning of leaf season, and she decides they go out in a boat because they live in the coast of Maine.
Oh, that sounds kind of
They're going out in a boat on one of these. They're technically called rivers. That I guess they are rivers that even if they're saltwater, they would feed into the ocean or the bay or whatever it is. And they're driving around and they're disappointed that no leaves have changed yet, thinking that they have to go. And I realize living in the Great Smoky Mountains, we know, because it's on the TV, that the elevation is what affects the rate of the change. That the ones at the top of the mountain change before the ones down at our level. And then imagine if you even go lower to literal sea level.
Right, it would take forever. Yes.
So she's trying to figure out why the leaves haven't changed. She thought she heard that they had changed.
She's like, where are they? They still look the same to me.
No, she's at sea level. They're going to be the last to change. And she's thinking, I got to go further inland. You got to go further inland. Well, yeah, you do, but you also have to go higher.
Yeah.
Higher, mainly. It's the main key.
Yeah. But here in Knoxville, we basically live in the forest, and so.
And of all the people, the leaf peepers, that's what really got me started. I was telling you about this funny clip that Bean played on his podcast of these guys wasting all of this energy, gasoline, driving 4 hours in their giant SUVs to go commune with nature and see the leaves like we would. We'd go to Cades Cove and you'd sit in traffic at Cades Cove for hours.
Or what's that other nice little drive through the
Cherahalla Skyway?
Maybe, or the Foothills Parkway.
Foothills Parkway. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of beautiful drives. In fact, the Sevierville Chamber of Commerce, remember we did the show with Amanda, she mentioned that they have on their website every year they add a new drive. It's like the Dogwood Trails in Knoxville, but they post, here's a scenic route to drive to see the most colorful leaves at this time of year. They tell you this elevation will be available at the beginning of October, end of October, beginning of November, end of November, and then pretty much just done.
Yeah, James and I actually went and did that.
Oh, right, you did.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to. You could just look out my window.
We could have just come over here.
I don't have to go anywhere.
We could have honestly just looked out our backyard
the leaves outside my back porch are just as good. I've got the same oak trees. I've got the beautiful, I hate fall and I hate winter, but if I liked it, I could sit out there all day and go, look at the leaves.
But I mean, it's still warm enough. Isn't this part of fall okay where it's not too cold yet?
It is.
Okay.
It is. But it's just the. And I'm sorry to always talk about death, but that's what.
This fall reminds you of the death.
It's like I'm dying. And I'm losing my leaves, and now I'm dead.
Well, Frank, we're always dying.
Yeah.
Our entire lives,
We're all
just dying.
Which,
as we get older, which we can't stop moving on this planet that is circulating,
Fair enough.
So
All right.
we're all dying all the time.
Well, speaking
Anyway,
of Amanda,
cheers.
over at Cheers. Look at this enormous mug.
I don't even know what this is.
This thing is probably, you could probably use this in a curling in the Olympics. You could probably use this for a shot put.
Yeah,
I think
it's
you
a
could.
5-pounder.
I feel how heavy it is. Granted, I filled it with
water,
water, but still,
Yeah.
it's still
Yeah,
hefty.
it's like 3-4 pound.
I got this from Amanda at Sevierville Chamber of Commerce, and it says, I don't know what year, but if it says the year on there, but it's the Sevierville Winterfest.
Winterfest.
And it's one of those mugs made probably at, Pigeon Forge Pottery right there, and it's beautiful, I think.
Nice.
So I only
It is
use it
pretty.
now that Winterfest has started. It started like on November, I don't know, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 8th, somewhere in the first week of November over there.
Yeah, that's nice.
They flip the lights in, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg. They take turns. Usually the Gatlinburg's usually last, but they flip the lights one each night.
That's exciting.
And it becomes Winterfest, and the Gatlinburg has the chili cook-off on the first night of Winterfest.
It's very festive up there.
It's super festive.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Well, meanwhile, I'm glad that we were able to squeeze in another episode, not
Me
only
too.
in your busy schedule, but in the amazing Scholars Bowl schedule. Here, let me move your thing out of the way, and I want to show you. The Scholars Bowl schedule has, caused me. Well, it causes me great joy, but it's so much work, and I'm so thankful to my wife, Jere the Brave, because she is. I mean, she's the. I don't know how she does it. She's just constantly cranking out these games. These 50 toss-ups and bonuses. So that's easily a minimum 100 questions per show.
And you're doing filming 5 or 6 a day, right?
6 at a time, 12 a week, until we get down to the finals, and then finally we might have 1 week we're only doing 9.
So 1,200 questions per week.
Yeah, just cranking them out.
That's insane.
Now, granted, the ones that they don't get used, we deliberately prepare 10 more than we think we need, and if they miss the toss-up,
A rollover.
the bonus doesn't get read. So those unread bonuses, we bring those, but that's a lot of work to keep track of which ones haven't been read, put them back in an upcoming game. There was one, at one point we ran out of visual questions, so I went back into the archives and pulled the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, which I think that anniversary is the beginning of November.
Okay, good.
Pulled the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald question and reworked it, because last year it was, what is the name of the ship? And as the picture's on the screen, it says on it, SS Edmund Fitzgerald.
Perfect.
So I changed it this year to say, the Edmund Fitzgerald sank in what body of water?
Gotcha.
You have to know it's Lake Superior, which is a little harder.
Yeah.
But as we're working, I even borrowed a computer from East Tennessee PBS. You see
Nice.
the red one over there?
Yeah, it's pretty.
And so I got to give it back at the end, but thankful my little Chromebook couldn't handle the speed at which Jere wants these games done.
Yeah.
You got to work.
Get to it.
So we get the thing, and there's no mouse that comes with it. And meanwhile, I'm also on the radio computer. I'm using this little portable mouse that's got a retractable string. It's like when you're on a plane, you get a little teeny little mouse, and you plug it in your laptop, and you can use it like this on your tray table. Well, it wasn't working. So Jere goes over to the store and to get me a new computer mouse, because she's got this nice wireless mouse. In fact, it's just like this one. It looks just like this one. But and she goes to the store and says, do you want one like I've got? I said, yes. It's got a little dongle that you hide in here, but then it plugs in to the USB.
Nice.
And she says, do you want the gray one or the red one?
Well, the red one matches the laptop.
That's what I said. And I said, but the gray one would match my work laptop, but do I really want to spend money buying equipment for 2 computers that I don't own?
So that they match.
I know. And so that I don't have to transfer from one computer. I mean, I can only use one computer at a time.
Sure, but
so theoretically, I could have gotten one of the computer mouses.
Yeah, but then wouldn't you have to wouldn't you then have to unplug it and rehook it up to the Bluetooth every time that would be annoying.
It's called an XY position indicator.
Yeah.
This is a Scholars Bowl question. So-and-so invented the XY position indicator, small object, which we now commonly known as what? Computer mouse. So So she got me both, but they were only $14 each.
That's not bad.
I think.
Let me see.
Yeah, and they're really nice.
They are really nice.
But the problem is, they're optic mice, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So they're having trouble on the tablecloth here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
With all this, so I actually had to go see if I had a mouse pad.
Is there a Frank and Friends show mouse pad?
Duh. Well, I went up to the office and found this unused New York Mets mouse pad that I probably got as a gift from Bean, because he would always give me, in the old days, I used to really follow baseball a lot more closely.
Okay.
When I had that kind of time. Now I've given up on football, I've given up on baseball, I've given up on...
It's the fall.
Giving it all up. Yeah. So, but I've been using the Mets mouse pad and enjoying it.
Nice.
So I got all that going.
Yeah.
But so it was worth it. I mean, it's funny. I was mad about spending $28, which is the cost of a salmon at that restaurant you wanted to go to. But instead of the salmon,
I got an experience of salmon, or
this is better.
2 mice.
I can't. It sounds so stupid, but as I'm using them, I'm like, oh, this is so much better than that stupid little mouse I had before. Because on the new radio station, Fun 105.9, it's a different software program that is much more dependent on me using a mouse.
Gotcha.
Whereas the ones I was used to before, everything was set to the space bar.
I haven't used a mouse in a really, really long time.
Yeah, so again, me too. So I'm getting back into it, but just feeling they're just so ergonomic.
It is kind of nice. I do think it would be.
Put it on a mouse pad, Kathryn. Oh, it's just wow.
That is true.
Oh,
yeah, that is good.
Oh.
I think it would take me a while to get used to to using it again, though.
Anyway, it doesn't.
Do the kids even know what these are?
XY position indicators?
Yes.
Yeah, they usually get that question right. But then again, we've asked it in the show every year for who knows how long.
And they're just watching the show and memorizing the questions. Gotcha.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. I had, there's this one kid named Zach who has told me that he has a list of the questions that I got wrong or the mistakes I made in last year's show.
That's funny.
I said, can I have a copy of the list? Oh, it's not written down. It's in my head. And he starts naming some of the questions. And I'm like,
that's great.
I know, but thankfully the ones he named were mistakes that I also had noticed or someone had written. Did I tell you that I got a complaint letter from a viewer in Nashville?
No.
Nashville?
Why are they complaining?
Because we misspelled fluorescent on the show.
They really have too much time on their hands.
No, they were right.
I know,
and it
but
was
still,
horrific that we misspelled fluorescent. I wish we hadn't. But as it worked out, this kid, Zach, his team won. So they won a couple times. So they played again. And in one of the later games that he played, the fluorescent question came up. And it's funny because he rings in and says it, and he spells fluorescent correctly because, I've fixed it.
Right.
So I was kind of smiling, going, well, that kid, he's way ahead of the game here.
Yeah,
he knows that we misspelled it last year. He knows how to spell it correctly. And now he has been the first one of the 8 students to ring in to spell it correctly this year. So
yeah, he's learning a lot.
Good for him.
Yeah.
And then it seems like we have multiple kids who are memorizing the old questions. And Zach was telling me their names because he remembered.
Zach needs to already be in college, I think.
He is. He's dual enrollment.
Oh wow.
He's I think he's on the verge of getting his associates from Pellissippi, and then he's very bright.
Yeah, sounds like it.
The kids who gravitate to Scholars Bowl by definition are bright.
Sure.
We get the cream of the crop here. So, we get these ones who they know the questions because they've heard them. So my wife and I are rewriting as many of the questions as I can.
So that they're not hearing them in the same exact way, and they actually have to listen.
Have to think about it, right.
And respond.
And I'm not doing it just for the sake of it. It's just some of them are written, how do I say, not in my voice. Does that make sense?
Of course.
And it's not that I'm trying to write them in my voice. It's just that the old guys who used to host it, Hop Edwards, some of these questions have been around since the Hop Edwards days, and he apparently was a real character. And even
You're not a character at all, so I don't think you would relate.
Diana Morgan and Sonda Allison hosted the show. They would have questions like, if I have 3 apples and you have 4 apples, or whatever it is, or I'm going to read you a question for math, get your pencils ready. And that's on the script.
Right.
Well, that's not
That's not you.
That's not me.
Yeah.
I want to strip these questions down to the barest of essentials. I want speed. I want to go as fast as I possibly can. And it's been working out, like one of those games that Zach played, because it was Hardin Valley versus Cedar Springs. And oh my gosh, both of these teams are just like,
fast.
They're getting them all right. And we're just going so fast. We blew through the 50 questions. I'm pulling from another game.
But that's why you need all those questions.
Yeah.
And that's why Jere the Brave is working so hard.
And everyone said, how did you do that? I said, no, this is the best game we've had so far. I'd rather be overwhelmed that way than the ones that go slow. Once in a while you get two teams that are both slow on the buzzer and they're afraid. They're afraid to guess.
Right.
They're afraid to be wrong.
Because they don't want to be wrong. Yeah.
And there's no...
just be wrong. It's great.
There's no points off for wrong.
Yeah.
We'd rather you say something than nothing.
Right.
But they'll just, I ask the question and there's like silence, silence, silence. You're waiting, just waiting for the timer to hit the buzzer to say time's up. And it's like 10 seconds and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, it makes for the experience for the audience watching it on television to be much slower. So it's better experience for everybody if they're fast.
Right. I mean, I guess in theory they could edit that, but they're not going to because the clock is ticking on the screen.
Right.
So I love the show and I'm looking forward to it when it's on. I don't even know why I got on that jag other than that it's so, the computer mice. It's everything. It's all I can think about. It takes up the majority of my time. But thank goodness Jere has allowed me to visit with my friends. Like Kathryn's coming over. Oh, okay. I'll go out. I'll go. Text me when she's gone so I can come back.
She can be here. She just doesn't want to hear us talking so much.
Yeah.
We're pretty loud.
We are.
Yeah.
Pretty obnoxious.
Yeah.
I've got to know. I'm not trying to cut you off because you've got more stuff to tell me. Please jump in right now.
Well, I want to know about this card that you keep tossing around back and forth. There's cute little doggies on it.
I was wondering about Kristen and Jeff, who've been on the show as co-hosts. And I'm trying to get them back because I gave them a fig tree last year and they say it died over the winter. Oh. So I said, well, I'll give you another one. I've got plenty. I've got some that I know survived the winter last year. We'll dig one of them up. You can pick whichever one you want. Well, it's like a Christmas tree farm. We'll go out to the fig tree farm and you can pick one. We'll dig it up and you can take it home and, my gift to you. Because I have enough.
Right.
In fact, I've already come up with a plan. I have a written down plan of what I'm going to do with the fig trees in the spring.
Okay.
I'm going to move this one over there and this one's going to go there. I'm going to put a few in next door neighbor Ted's yard. Got a whole plan. All worked out. Arrows, diagrams,
figs
charts.
around the entire neighborhood.
Well, then I haven't heard from Jeff and Kristen. I heard from them like in July or June or July saying they were working on a fundraiser for the Blount County Animal Center. And could I help them get some PSAs, free commercials, and in fact, public service announcements on the radio station where I worked? I'm like, well, yeah, sure. Why not? So I called the boss, and they're like, oh, they love animals. I'm like, oh, animals. So we gave them some PSAs.
Nice.
But then I'm texting back, like, oh, happy birthday, or whatever it was, something. And you get these short texts like, oh, yeah, great, thanks. And I'm thinking, well, I was hoping to hear more from you. When are you coming to do the show? And I guess they were busy. So I thought, well, he's a big star. I'm not. He's busy.
Yeah, fine.
Got stuff to do.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, then I get this lovely card in the mail explaining how busy they've been working with the animal cell. Apparently, I didn't realize they were in charge of the fundraiser. I thought they were just on the committee.
Wow. No.
And you know how, I would avoid being on that committee at all costs.
You try to avoid being on any committee.
Yes.
Yes.
I've been on enough committees and I've been on enough boards. I know what happens.
And you don't want to do the work.
Right. Kathryn, I've been the president of 2 boards.
I know.
And I swore I would never be on another board ever until you came along.
I know. Well,
dang you.
I know. But I come over here and
dang you and your wily ways.
I know.
This was before. You roped me into being on that board before you started coming over here.
That's
didn't you?
true. Yeah. I was just trying to make up reasons.
Coming over here was the payback for me signing up to be on the board.
Got it.
It wasn't the other way around.
I see.
Well, anyway, so I got a lovely note from them, and at the very end, the best line is it's animals. It's all this animal stuff, which I'm sure is important. Animal Center, PSAs, party with the animals, medical care, forever homes, animal, working on the event for months. And now that it's over, we can come up for air. Let's get a podcast date on the calendar.
Nice.
So that warmed my
That
heart.
is very nice.
That's the only part I read.
What's the name of the animal?
Oh, Blount County Animal Center, bcac.com.
BCAC?
Or maybe it's Friends of the Blount County. No, I think it's what's called Friends of the Blount County Animal Center, but I think the website is just bcac.com.
Gotcha.
It's actually started by my old radio boss. It was called the Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation.
Oh, nice.
Or as we called it, because we would do PSAs for it when he was the head of the radio station. So I just called it for short SMACFA.
SMACFA.
He didn't care for that name.
I'm sure not. No.
Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation. SMACFA.
Support SMACFA.
Yeah. No wonder they changed it to the Blount County Animal Center.
Yeah. I think you're responsible for that.
BCAC just rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah,
it's like the old.
That's much better.
Did you ever fly? You're probably too young, but you were half British. Did you ever fly on BOAC?
The British?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
That was they changed the name of it to British Airways.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm so old that I flew on it to Bermuda when it was still BOAC. It felt so fancy.
And you made it back over that triangle.
Yeah, it's all bogus, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, we went. I had a nice time. I was a little kid. I was like 10. It was a lovely trip.
I mean, I had a great aunt who lived over there for a long time.
In Bermuda?
In Bermuda, yeah.
Yeah. It's so lovely. Very British, kind of.
Yeah.
All right, anyway.
Yeah.
I guess let's do a Bone Zones commercial, and I'll try to figure out which of these topics will interest you on the list, because I still have all these things. Oh, like going to the fancy restaurant. I haven't told you all the details of that story yet.
I love fancy restaurants.
Well, you're fancy. Did you get a fascinator yet?
I have several fascinators.
I mean, we need to get you one with a horrific fascinator with the Frankie Friends logo on it.
Oh, I haven't gotten that one yet.
I don't know how we have to make it.
I mean, I do have a blue one that has like an orange like flower that could be in the right direction for a Frank and Friends fascinator.
Well, I think we can work on that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, bonezones.com, don't forget the S. I hope you watched the previous commercial for Bone Zones in a previous episode, because it was most of the show.
Yes. And if you haven't watched it, you should go back and watch it.
But we won't get that detailed. It was a bit thick, let's say. But we do want you to go to bonezones.com, don't forget the S, to get the great autographed merchandise by Dr. Bill Bass, including these books, which are signed on the title, the appropriate page, which I can't figure out which one it is. Here it is. Look at that. See?
It's a beautiful signature.
Actual signed by actual Dr. Bill Bass. These are legit.
Awesome.
These are the real deal. So get yourself one of those.
Yeah, well,
some of these books are out
can.
of print now.
Yeah.
They still go over to his house every month or so to get him to sign new stuff.
That's nice.
And they have so many T-shirts, more than just the one that I keep showing you. I like this one because it's long sleeve, and I have the short sleeve version of it in gray. They have it in different colors. They've got all these other ones with pictures of Dr. Bass on the front, and pictures of the books and pictures of things. We're talking about, through Bone Zones, doing another presentation with me saying something. I'm not sure exactly what I'll be talking about, but it'll be on February 12th.
Oh, nice.
So it's still a ways off, but we've got Dr. Al Hazari doing the Chemistry Magic Show, Sam Venable doing a humor show.
Nice.
And we sell those books too through bonezones.com.
Those tickets sell out fast, so.
Yeah, in the cave down at Cherokee Caverns.
Yeah.
And we're looking at some other possibilities for venues too. The ladies down at Von Orr said they want me to do the show, the same presentation about the history of the body farm, maybe in Tellico. And you can book me now if you wanted to do those through bonezones.com. Don't
forget the S.
Because apparently I was good.
Maybe we should book you, maybe Marble City Opera should book you for a talk, and then we can kind of collaborate with the Doctor and the Devils.
I could do that.
Yeah, that would be fabulous.
We could have a little, exactly.
Sort of, we'll figure out how to collaborate on that.
That sounds fun. As long as we all get paid, Kathryn. Everyone's
all
going to be
get paid.
happy. We'll sell the books.
Sell the books, we get paid.
But that's what you know what? That's funny. Thank you for thinking of that. I don't know why I didn't, but that was the big stumbling block, as we were trying to figure out a way to get Dr. Bass involved with the body snatching opera. But then he retired from public speaking, and I thought the idea was dead. Don't pardon the pun. There's a Bone Zones commercial. But you're right. I could do it. Yeah. I could even I could even learn more, like I did. I mean, I had to learn.
We could specify it specifically for Doctor and the Devils.
Yeah, I could do a
Yeah.
body snatching history of the human skeleton, the modern skeletal collection and anatomical collections. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is how ideas come to fruition.
I already touched on that topic.
Perfect.
At the last show, because I have a clip of Dr. Bass talking about the medical skeletons from the 1800s, which is what your play is about.
Yes.
And how we now need modern skeletons at the University of Tennessee for the William M. Bass Modern Skeletal Collection.
See?
And I can connect the dots. And one of the places where they used to have an anatomical collection or a skeletal collection is the college in St. Louis where my son went.
Oh, look at that. That's nice.
All right, we're done.
I like it.
That's what a show. Thanks for watching.
See you next time. This is how ideas go from ideas into reality.
If as long as you make sure that Bone Zones people get paid and the whole thing happens.
Yeah. I think it'll be great. Yeah.
All right, I'll put you in touch with Susan. Okay. Bonezones.com. Don't forget the S.
Well, I think this commercial worked because I think they
I just sold the cake.
Yeah.
To you. It wasn't a very far. You know why?
Hey,
it was the fragrant pocket square. Don't smell like a dead person. Use a pocket. That's going to sound loud.
Oh, wow.
Use a pocket square.
Yeah.
Oh, now I've messed it up. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
How did you do that? I don't even know. That Brandon Gibson always had pocket squares.
He always had a pocket square. So this is
I-
in honor of him.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. Because he died a year ago.
Yeah, we missed.
Speaking of dead people.
You know, I don't know when we're going to talk about maybe on the maybe a little sooner or later. I don't know, but someday you may want to tell the story of when you called me that night.
Oh.
Because it was brutal.
Yes.
But I went into Frank knows what to do with dead people mode.
Yeah, you
And
really did. You really saved me.
I don't know how. I think it's interesting, but I don't want to. I didn't bring it up because I don't know. It's sensitive.
Sure.
It was sad.
Yeah.
But I just what happens is I just click into a different mode.
Yeah.
You know, I like put the sadness aside, and I just.
Well, you need people like that because
I'm
when
that
you're
guy.
sad.
I'm kind of the jerk who just knows what to do.
No. You need people like that to help you because
right.
when you're sad, you can't think like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's happened when my parents died. I was the guy who clicks into business mode. They didn't die at the same time. They died like 40 years apart. So don't worry about that. But I'm the guy who's like, you know, my mom is in the hospital. My sisters are both like, yeah, we're going to leave and go home. Mom wouldn't want us to be there when she passes. But you stay.
I have a lot of thoughts about that. I'm just gonna.
That's what they said to me. I'm like, well,
wow. Okay.
I'm
All right.
happy to stay here with Mom. I
yeah.
would gladly stay here with Mom, and we did.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we can talk. When you're ready to bring that up, it'll be on your dime. You bring it up, and we'll happy to
talk about that. Yeah.
But I've been saving a story about a fancy restaurant to tell you, because when Jere's sister and brother-in-law came to visit over Labor Day weekend, and I haven't really seen you that much physically since Labor Day. We've talked and texted, but they had this tour book, and I know we've talked about this before it happened. This tour book of things to do in the 50 states.
Right.
So they go to Tennessee, and there's 3 sections, for the 3 grand divisions, as represented by the 3 stars on the Tennessee flag. And the blue background represents the eternal unity of the 3
Mr.
grand
Owl
divisions.
just showed up.
It's another Scholars Bowl question. Answer.
I just thought it was Mr. Owl.
We should play the Mr. Owl theme song.
Yes, we should.
You want to hear it right now?
I love the Mr. Owl theme song. Do you have it available?
Yeah, I mean, I could play it. I could just edit it in, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see, Mr. Owl. I gotta figure out where I've saved it. Mm-hmm. But I have it. Well, anyway, because I want to make sure I allow the appropriate length of time to go by for the song. But I guess I should make us actually listen to it.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll work on that while I tell you.
Tell me about the fancy restaurant.
The other thing at the same time. Google Drive. Where are you, Google Drive? There you are. So we have reservations. Yeah, there's going to be a deposit. You can't not use them, or you lose $100, right? $25 person fee if you cancel out on your reservations.
Right.
We're
Yes.
very excited.
Yes.
But of course, we're going to be there early. We skipped lunch. You know what we had for lunch that day?
Nothing?
Andy's frozen custard.
Oh, well, that's a good lunch.
So we had lunch, ice cream for lunch, and we thought,
that's a great
we'll
idea.
skip, that's it. Really all we're going to have for the day. Quick breakfast. We went over and did some adventures in Carver's Apple Orchard in Cock County and Sevier
Nice.
County. Got some Andes. And
This is a good day.
Small. Jerry and I split one.
Okay.
So we went to Save Room, fancy restaurant. Well, I'm driving, and I say, you know what we'll do is we'll get the... I'll drop you off at the front of the restaurant so you don't have to walk in. And then I'll go around and park in my best garage, the Locust Street garage, because they don't need to deal with that. They're from out of town, right? I'm not going to make them all hike. So I drop them off at the restaurant. I go park. They go to their table. And I show up at the door, and I just want to, at this point, walk in and find them, right?
Sure.
But they stop me. They're like, you can't just go walking into a fancy restaurant.
This is a fancy restaurant. You have to tell us what you're doing here.
And like, what name is? And they said, who are you? I said, I'm Frank. What name are the reservations under? And I'm like, well, they might be under mine. No. They might be under my wife's. They might be under my sister-in-law's. They might be under my brother. I'm not like. I'm
You're
trying.
like, I
So
don't
at this point,
remember.
I'm going to try and go in and go like, hey,
But I think they're right over there.
I just dropped them off. I'm dressed nicely, but I go in and the guy, he's like, okay, but he's like almost like lurching me. You know what I mean? If I say
Sure.
that, where he's like the character Lurch, where they go, you rang. He was pleasant and nice about it, but he's very close. Very, very close.
Well, maybe, did you have one of these pocket squares that were like,
I should have brought the
wafting
pocket square.
into the air?
Golly, Miss Molly, if I had. So, but I'm dressed up, and I'm just trying to get in the restaurant. So I get in there, and I'm sweating, a little stressed, because I thought he wasn't going to let me in. I thought I was going to have to call and find somebody to come over, and I didn't want to upset the whole apple cart. I'm just trying to slide in, sit down at the table. So I didn't even tell the people in the group this, because I can't. The guys work right there. He was making sure that I'm at the right table. And I'm like, okay. Now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, you know what? Before we even order, the first waiter has come over, and we've ordered ginger beer, which was delicious.
Was it?
But it was like really ginger. I mean, it's like,
Remind me to tell you a ginger beer story.
you get punched in the face with that ginger beer, because they make it, I don't know how they make it. They make it on site with this. It was really strong. It was like eating raw ginger, but I loved it. It was super gingery. But anyway, I think before he comes, I'm going to use the restroom. So I just get up, and I stand up, and I turn around, and it's like, there's the guy. Yes, can I help you? And I'm like, I need to go. So now I'm feeling embarrassed again.
Sure.
And they're trying to be super service. They're trying to be over the top and provide the top level of service, which I'm not accustomed to. I'm used to this. Frank, your order's ready, number 14. That's what I'm used to. And I go up to the counter, and you get the tray, and you go sit down.
Yeah.
Here I am at Nice Land having a lovely meal. And so now I've had to go to the restroom, and I'm trying to make jokes, trying to make apologize, and I'm like looking at the guy going, I guess I picked the wrong day to start hydrating.
You didn't.
I did. All I can do is I'm going back
just like going back and forth.
There's the movie Airplane, where he's like, I picked the wrong day to give up smoking.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that reference. I picked the wrong day to give up hydrating. And the guy's
He didn't
like,
get it, right?
No.
Yeah.
So at this point now, I figure I better just shut
down and eat
up and get on my best behavior.
Yes.
And just and enjoy the meal, which was lovely and delicious. I would go back for that ginger beer, which you said was terrific.
So the ginger beer, I've never had that ginger beer, but the first meal that James ever made me, he didn't have much in the refrigerator at the time. And so he decided that he had ginger beer and he had like crab meat. And so he decided what would be a good combination is to mix the ginger beer in the crab meat. And he like hands me this meal, and I think there might have been like something else there. And I'm like,
were you still in college? No, this is like he's an adult.
Yeah, we're adults who are basically homeless because
You're arts.
Yeah, we're working the road. But anyway, it was really bad. But I was like, that's good, thank you. And he took one bite and he was like, this is horrible, we're going out. But anytime I hear ginger beer, I remember that story.
Soaking
crab meat and ginger beer.
The last thing I would put in that ginger beer is seafood. No wonder you wouldn't go to the sushi restaurant with us.
Because
that's what most
James messed it up for me.
A good chunk of sushi is everyone thinks, it's just raw fish, but I mean really the rolls are not technically sushi is the raw fish on the piece of rice, or that's sashimi or whatever it is.
Right, yeah.
But the rolls you get have a lot of either real or imitation crab meat in it.
Right.
Which probably would be a trigger for you.
Yeah, it's ruined me. I'm traumatized.
Well, you mentioned, of course, I've got these overwhelming amount of Scholars Bowl facts at my fingertips, because I might forget them 6 months from now. If you quiz me again, I might not have them.
Well,
but while I'm
not these specifically, but you might have some others.
While I'm prepping
you
the
are
game,
Mr. Owl.
Which I think the story of how this happened, right?
I do. I mean, you've told it to me before. I think I've heard the song too,
But basically, when I worked at, I've always had odd nicknames at different radio stations. I mean, at one they called me Frankopedia.
That's a good one.
But before there was such a thing as they at KLOS, Mark and Brian used to tease me about being a know-it-all and being a pain in the neck. And what part of my job was to write the questions for a really difficult game show called You Can't Win.
Okay.
And the idea was you have to listen every day for weeks and weeks to win this $10,000 prize package. But the questions were so difficult, and we had the advantage as the radio station of people not having internet access. So I would actually go to the physical library, This was 1997, so it was the beginning of the internet, but it wasn't common enough that you could just Google anything.
Right.
I would go to the library and find these books and facts and unusual takes on things and put this trail of breadcrumbs out in the clue and write the question in a way that it would take not just minutes to solve, but days, hours to solve.
That's fun.
Done on purpose.
That's fun.
So I became known as Mr. Owl, and a great musician there does music for all sorts of TV shows and movies and commercials, who listened to the show in LA, created the Mr. Owl jingle. And I'll put that on for you and see if I can play that so that you can hear it here on the Frank and Friends show. You know what? I think I need a new computer.
Well, you've got two others over there with your extra mice. But.
All right, here we go. Now, since I probably just edited that part out, here it is. Here is the Mr. Owl theme.
Who's the cat who knows the stuff that you and I don't? Who will learn about the stuff that you and I won't? He can tell you all about the smells that are foul. Who's the man? What's his name? Ooh, he's Mr. Owl.
He's Mr. Owl.
Geography, philosophy, science, and math too. All about the presidents, Elvis and fast food. He can tell you when to use a consonant or vowel. Who's the man? What's his name? Ooh, he's Mr. Owl. Here he comes. What's his name? Ooh, he's Mr. Owl.
Nice. You know, I'm going to have to learn that.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, with
I would
Whitney
love
and
to hear.
Kayla. And like we should do it in the cave next year as an encore.
I'll send it to you. Oh my gosh, it'd be hilarious.
He's Mr. Owl.
Oh my
we'll
gosh.
get like a whole little,
Oh, get a little choir going.
Yeah.
Oh, my wife will
fun.
help with that because she's. Yeah,
We'll get like the barber quintet, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Barbershop.
that would be hilarious.
Hilarious.
And then at my funeral, you can sing it again.
Perfect.
There he goes in the
As long as
ground.
you're not
He's
cremated, because I'm
Mr.
not
Owl.
doing that anymore.
I'm not trying to turn people off to cremation. It's the most popular method.
Well, that's because they don't know what happens. But go back
disposal.
and listen. Yeah.
To the It was Halloween, Kathryn. I mean,
I know. I'm
thought
sorry.
it was
I'm still
appropriate.
thinking about it.
I thought it was appropriate to go deep on
It
the.
was, yeah.
I mean, I can tell you about
It's caused me,
the
you know,
four stages of
nightmares.
decay. That'll get you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's next time. Got to spread it out, so I have like something to have nightmares about like weekly, instead of like piling it all on one and one. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
I'm glad you get me. All right.
Someone has to.
It is. If you like all sorts of audio entertainment, especially this, please do check out audibletrial.com/Frank and Friends show, where you can get a free 30-day premium membership. For that first 30 days, experience all the joys of Audible, listening in your car, listening on your Amazon Echo, on your phone, on your computer, any device you can think of, and it will save your spot in the book and pick up exactly where you left off. Also, during that free 30-day trial, download a book to keep forever as an MP3, an audiobook, of course, I'm talking about, and they've got custom audio entertainment made just for Audible. We've got some actor friends out in LA, by the way, who are now doing work.
The
Like they're doing
voiceovers?
like some radio dramas, or I guess they're
Nice.
not radio dramas, they'd be,
Audible dramas.
yeah, podcast dramas and stuff like that.
Yeah, nice.
And you got those, you got, just other podcasts and other just shows, things that are actual shows, that somehow, I don't know how that's different from a podcast, but they got all of that, including the Frank and Friends show on Audible. Check it out at audibletrial.com/Frank and Friends show. And you're helping us just for signing up for the free 30-day membership. And they believe you'll like it so much that once you start paying for it, you're going to keep it after that, because you'll get used to it and listening and saving time.
Yeah,
as you drive
absolutely.
around listening to, expanding your mind, learning things that you can quiz your high school students about on Scholars Bowl. Or
That's right. And you too can become Mr. Owl.
why not? All right. The merch store is at frankandfriendshow.com/store.
You can get the
Towel.
towels,
Well, I'm not going to
mugs,
bend over for that.
pint glasses,
That
cell
doesn't
phone
sound right.
cases.
Yeah, we got fun stuff. Yoga mat. There's a yoga mat on there, which I couldn't believe how expensive it was relative to some of the other things. But I guess it's an actual yoga mat, and that's how much
Yoga
they
mat
cost.
would be nice.
Yeah. Well, get one.
Yeah.
All right. Kathryn, thanks a lot. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Get on your way. You've got to go work for the afternoon. I probably have to go do radio and probably television and whatever.
All the things.
We're blessed.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for
Lots
being here.
to do.
It is the Frank and Friends Show. I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
And we'll talk to you again next time. I thought I heard something.
Don't die.